Hey there, Pilly G's. How you doing? Welcome back to Venture Pill.
Doing fine, thank you. Kicking things off, we have a breakdown on Collaborative Robotics, or better known as Cobot, hot off their $100 million Series B led by General Catalyst. This company makes robots to work alongside humans in all kinds of facilities.
Fascinating stuff. After that, you'll hear about Dude Perfect, the popular sports content brand that's been making YouTube videos for 15 years after they raised over $100 million in funding from Highmount Capital.
And lastly, we will wrap things up with Arcadia, which just announced a $50 million growth round with new participation from Macquarie. The company makes it easy for companies and consumers to tap into community solar to save money and help the environment.
Robots, trick shots, and solar. You can only get this kind of lineup on the pill. Seriously, who's making this kind of mix? Without further ado, let's get into it, partner.
Let's do it.
You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump.
This is Venture Pill, your weekly dose of startups and venture capital. We break down recent startups in the news and interview founders and investors to help you stay informed in the evolving world of venture.
Our first company of this week's dose is Collaborative Robotics, which just announced $100 million for their Series B led by General Catalyst. The round also included really a who's who. We haven't had a who's who in a while. Lux Capital, as well as existing investors from prior rounds, Sequoia, Costla Ventures, and even the Mayo Clinic. So impressive cap table is some of the biggest names in venture, and then you throw in the Mayo Clinic there.
And so, yeah, Collaborative Robotics, more easily and widely known as Cobot, was founded just a couple years ago by former Amazon VP of Robotics, Brad Porter. Probably pretty well suited for the job.
Yeah.
Cobot's robots are built with productivity and safety in mind for the manufacturing, healthcare, ding, 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 maybe why Mayo Clinic got involved, and retail industries. Also, they're designed to work alongside humans, a common trend we at the pharmacy here at Venture Pill Pharmacy have made note of over and over again, although typically when we talk about that, it's in the context of AI that's used alongside humans. This is a slightly different twist, but still in the robotic space.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, the AI goes hand in hand with robotics. So we'll talk about that too. But yeah, certainly a trend we've noticed, and I think a recipe for success. And success they have had in these first couple of years. Really impressive. So they only just raised a $10 million seed round last summer. Since then, they were able to get their first robot in field tests by January of this year, and even 3 early customer commitments. Now, the sector is full of competition. To name a couple, obviously Tesla working on Elon's robots, the humanoid style, which we'll say that word humanoid more, and you'll try not to laugh. As well as Figure, which we were a little less familiar with, but should be, because they raised $675 million not too long ago. Cobot, though, is pursuing a different style of robot, not humanoid like the others, because that's expensive. Those are hard to build, and clearly other companies are going for that. So they're trying to differentiate in that way.
Right, and doubling down even further on the early success and progress with Cobot, apparently they have a fully functioning robot in a customer facility that can handle boxes, totes, and carts in any commercial environment. That's pretty impressive already.
Yeah.
And as for their business model, they've positioned it as robots as a service, RaaS, of course, which I think is our first RaaS company.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And so as a RaaS company, they allow businesses to integrate robots into their processes and facilities without a huge upfront expenditure, which may not be the case with Tesla and Figure and other humanoids.
Yeah, the as a service business model is really fascinating, especially when you're talking about expensive equipment that will remain under the ownership of the company that built it. I think that's pretty smart. Really a win-win. We, of course, see the software as a service model, which makes a lot of sense. You're not going to sell the ownership of the software you've built. But with that physical component, the robot or whatever piece of equipment it is, I think that's where it gets pretty interesting. Anyway, a detailed look of the robot from Cobot is unknown at this point. So they're keeping it kind of the cards close to their chest. But with the announcement of this funding round, I'm sure we'll see it in action soon in no time as they look to scale the production and deployment of their Cobots to many more large enterprise customers. I'm curious who they're working with. Maybe it is Mayo Clinic. Maybe it is some other large distributor of some sort in retail. I'm not sure, but
yeah. And that secrecy, playing it close to the chest, makes sense given the competitive nature of this robotics space. I imagine, they don't want too many images or ideas to be copied from their robots.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Sam, you are my favorite humanoid.
Thank you. I thought you'd never say so.
Not too much you can respond to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, really cool company. Cobots Robots, definitely something to look out for. Again, strong team led by a former Amazon VP of robotics, and it's an interesting space. We'll see how this RAS model works out.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the list of investors, the strong leadership, and the early success. I mean, these are all the elements that you're looking for in the first couple of years of a company, and to raise $100 million that quickly, they're really trying to pour some fuel on the fire now, and I think that is why we will eventually see this thing in action more, and they'll get beyond 3 customers if they don't already have that. So pretty soon. So tabs will be kept on the Cobot.
Will be interesting to see how it plays out for sure. For our second company on this week's dose, we have Dude Perfect, which just secured over $100 million, potentially up to $300 million, not exactly sure, but over $100 million in funding from High Mount Capital. For those who aren't familiar, and I think everyone in me and Sam's age demographic has definitely heard of, maybe seen a couple videos of Dude Perfect, maybe tried to replicate, imitate them, maybe even make better videos than them. We all had a phase of doing that. The company was founded by 5 roommates at Texas A&M, so a bunch of Aggies nearby.
Ugh.
And yeah, definitely ugh. And they began making YouTube videos in April 2009, specializing in, again, basketball trick shots and other crazy stunts. Really like
The gamut,
things you couldn't even imagine would make sense as a trick shot. They've tried it and succeeded. So it's pretty cool. Fast forward to now, April 2024, 15 years later, the group has amassed more than 60 million YouTube subscribers, 17 billion views on YouTube, and has expanded to TV shows, games, toys, events, and more. They're really spreading their wings and covering a lot of bases. It's not just trick shots anymore.
Yeah, taking a page out of the venture pill model, really, like in terms of the media, the media coverage and the reach that we have.
It's true. And these aren't your grandpa's trick shots. Again, they're doing some pretty crazy stuff out of helicopters, things like that.
True. Yeah. No, I used to love watching them, and they, I feel like a big part of our childhoods and many of our friends, as you said. So pretty cool. I never thought we'd be covering them on Venture Pill, which is awesome. Yeah. They've had a lot of success though in recent years. They are estimated to exceed $50 million in revenue this year, which will be up from $25 million in 2022 and $20 million in 2021. So really, like doubling that is pretty crazy. So they're seeing a lot of that virality and the growth from that.
Yeah, and my understanding is that most of those revenues, especially in the 2022 and 2021 years, was like almost exclusively through YouTube, which makes sense when you have, 60 million subscribers, 17 billion views. Which goes to show, how much money can be made on YouTube. But also, I think they're maybe with this raise and also just in going into this year moving forward, they're starting to find other revenue streams outside of just YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're going to use this investment to fuel that expansion into new areas like live events, consumer products, and, of course, more content. Content is king.
It is, yeah. This is, again, for a couple of content creators like you and I, this is awesome to see. But yeah, I think they're really trying to leverage that YouTube established success they have into a broader media empire, really control more than just trick shots again. And yeah, I think one speculation, maybe I read it somewhere, maybe I didn't, is that they might do some kind of like Disney World theme park for trick shots type of thing, which sounds awesome. Now, we tried to replicate these videos, but we don't have a helicopter and a ranch and, you know, the opportunity to do it. So if
That's
you're-
because that's all you need.
So I think that could be a cool concept to look into. They want to do a lot more live events, things like that. And so additionally, though, with this massive influx of capital, they plan to, A, build out a management team, so expand their team to more than just the 5 co-founders from A&M. They're also looking into global growth, noting that about half of their YouTube audience is international. So the group is planning an international tour and also considering translating videos, exploring ways to tap into that international audience. And lastly, the company also sees opportunities in more events, like a traveling show or a permanent exhibit.
A Vegas residency.
Yeah, somehow. But yeah, kind of, again, maybe that permanent exhibit is kind of like a theme park, recreate some of their awesome shots.
So we wanted to break down basically the formula for Dude Perfect's success thus far. And I think you identified it as a main part being trust. In a world with a growing demand for safe and family-friendly entertainment, Dude Perfect is filling that void. So really gaining the trust of families, which I know that was the case in my household. Like that was a fun, cool thing to watch and for kids to go out and do, replicate, encouraging being active, having fun, being silly. Like it's all this type of stuff, like very family friendly and something that parents can get behind.
Totally, and especially given the accessibility and ease of being able to go on social media. Everyone has smartphones, computers, things like that these days. So parents are happy to have this family-friendly, good old-fashioned fun, you know, promotes outdoor activity type of entertainment.
One of those parents was High Mount Capital, the leader of this round, their CIO, David Hawkins. And he notes that his 3 boys, ages 5, 8, and 10, are super fans. He knows that their content is suitable and enjoyable for all of them to watch. So, you know, that hits home for the investors even. And from Dude Perfect's co-founder, Keeton, he says that the most valuable thing we've done these last 15 years is build trust with families and then build trust with the brands. It's been primarily content. Now we want those families to actually touch and feel that fun for themselves.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you were saying about their expansion plans. So just taking what they've built, applying it in new ways, getting a closer connection to their fans, that physical interaction. I think it's pretty cool.
Exactly. And building on that explanation of why Dude Perfect is so popular, you mentioned trust as a main pillar. Another one that builds off that is it's really got a stronghold with younger generations. So companies have increasingly looked into partnership opportunities with Dude Perfect to reach younger demographics. Again, High Mount Capital CIO David Hawkins, his kids are 5, 8, and 10, and they're super fans. Like I think that's really a market that Dude Perfect has found a niche or a strong niche with. But talking about reaching younger demographics, some instances of non-YouTube trick shot things that Dude Perfect has done recently. They premiered their first show on CMT in 2016 called The Dude Perfect Show, of course, and later began airing the series on Nickelodeon. It's pretty prime time for, you know, kids TV. They also created an alternate stream for the NFL's Thursday night football games on Amazon. So again, the whole family can be there. The dad's watching the game. The mom's maybe half watching the game. And the kids are watching Dude Perfect, you know, be funny and create more content that they love. And lastly, Smoothie King just released Dude Perfect Smoothie last month. So another interesting kind of, totally different type of partnership. But nonetheless, just Dude Perfect becoming more and more of a household name, spreading brand awareness and building on their strength.
It's been amazing to see, like, from watching the YouTube videos in their early days to even today. Like, I feel like last week or a few days ago, I've seen them pop up on my social media. It's incredible, and they look like they have a blast doing it. So you got to respect it. Big takeaway here is just a broader trend. I think we're, you know, particularly interested in this trend of private investment firms investing in YouTube-grown talent to take their massive online audiences to more established platforms and grow other revenue streams. Investors are really coming around to recognize the value and influence of these creators. And Dude Perfect's success may very well pave the way for future YouTubers to secure funding and expand their brands.
Yeah, this is an exciting proof of concept. Granted, this Dude Perfect has been doing this and pounding the pavement for 15 years, so it's not like this was an overnight success. Some may think of social media, but yeah, I mean, for a company that was just making videos, messing around, taking trick shots on a farm, to later secure a $100 million round, have 20, 25, and $50 million of revenue. Like that is legit income and, investment capital now as well. I will say this, Dude Perfect feels like some of the like first YouTube videos I remember watching. We were about, 12 years old or so, 11 years old at the time. So it makes sense. But yeah, here we are now 15 years later and they're still kicking and honestly growing. Testament to that team and what can be done with a massive YouTube audience as well. And lastly, we want to close up this segment with just a couple other examples of private investment firms investing in YouTube-grown talent, which include, first, Blackstone-backed Candle Media acquired Cocomelon's parent company, Moonbug Entertainment, for roughly $3 billion in 2021. Now, unlike Dude Perfect, Cocomelon, I don't think was in, you and I's target demographic. I can't say I've seen too much. I'm familiar with the brand, of course, but my understanding is they are an extremely trusted brand for parents with young kids that, are watching YouTube. Again, a good way to make sure your kids are watching suitable content. Another instance of this is Recurrent Ventures, which is a venture equity-backed digital media roll-up company, acquired Donut Media, which is the largest automotive brand on YouTube back in 2021. Specific terms of that deal were not available. Trust me, we tried. But safe to assume it was for another lucrative acquisition. And it makes sense. I mean, this is one of the leading brands in the whole automotive space on YouTube. Just another proof of concept.
Yeah, you wonder what somebody like Mr. Beast, his brand would go for. Like, that is multi-billion-dollar. Like, these people work hard. They work harder than most people realize to build this. And we're getting there, know?
We are. I mean, they first of all, those people cultivate such a strong audience, but not to toot our own horns here, but like when I see something we post on YouTube or Instagram has 1,000 views, it's like, holy crap, 1,000 people, most of them strangers, just watched us, talk about whatever we're pretending to know about to sell ourselves short. But, these people are 17 billion views for Dude Perfect. That's insane. That's, twice the world's population and then some. 60 million subscribers. That's like loyal fans. Like that is, if that were a country or a sports team or something like that would still be incredible. So, it's interesting to see how these YouTube empires have just built and refined and become like intrinsic DNA to a huge population of subscribers and internet fans. Yeah.
I mean, you just hope that they can maintain their brand, their passion, what has made them so good, right. And that this is just, a strategic partnership that allows them to expand and that they don't stray away from that. So wishing them the best. Congratulations to the team. And yeah, as we said, major respect and hoping that they, who knows, they get to $1 billion brand.
It feels like they have the most fun job in the world, though.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, they're making tons of money, and not to undermine at all the work and strategy that goes into what they're doing, but as far as we can see, they're mostly just, again, doing trick shots, like playing basketball, messing around, meeting athletes, things like that. So yeah, again, tip of the cap. They've been doing this for 15 years, and just goes to show what some hard work and a good idea can do.
Mm-hmm. All right, shifting gears a little bit back to venture world here with Arcadia. And they just announced a $50 million growth round with new participation from Macquarie. The round also included existing investors like Energy Impact Partners, which we actually just mentioned last episode. So 2 in a row for EIP.
That's a streak.
Yeah. JP Morgan included, as well as G2 Venture Partners and others. So Arcadia is a community solar platform that centralizes energy data for businesses and facilitates easy access to community solar for businesses and consumers alike.
Yeah, and that sounds great. You delivered it perfectly, partner. But what exactly does Arcadia do? Let's dig one deeper here. So in short, they help people get access to the money-saving benefits of solar energy without installing costly and problematic rooftop panels. So community solar uses off-site solar farms with thousands of panels, allows people and businesses to pay for a share of those farms, and then benefit from the savings through solar credits.
Yeah, and these solar credits get applied to the customer's energy bill, which lowers expenses and helps the environment. So this two-pronged mission.
Love that.
yeah, I think it's a win-win for everybody involved. And they estimate that they save customers on average 10%. And compare that to the $20,000 sometimes cost on average to install panels in your home. And that is really a no-brainer. So for Arcadia, it's been like, how do we get the word out about this, that make it as easy to sign up and implement as possible? And that's what they've been working on the last several years.
Yeah, and I like the idea of just having a solar farm, ideally kind of in the middle of nowhere, rather than, you see a lot of neighborhoods, mine included, that like half the houses have 1 or 2 solar panels on their roof, and there's like randomly placed solar panels. Just kind of doesn't, like, it's kind of bad optically speaking. And I wonder the efficiency, and you hear a lot of people that have installed panels, and sometimes it's not as efficient and cost effective as they may have hoped. But as you mentioned, we've got a classic, one of our favorite things to cover, a dual mission company here. So one, they want to help reduce fossil fuels, save the environment a little bit more, which is awesome. And also they want to help people save money. And on top of that, this company is another instance of doing good and making money, which is another type of company we love to cover. Those don't have to be exclusive or mutually exclusive. It's good to see another company.
The double bottom line, right?
Yep.
Ron Levin from episode 105, where he talks about this double bottom line concept, which he's written about in his blog and book. So take a listen to that if you want to hear more, but it's essentially that concept. How can you put your venture dollars to work to make an impact but as an alternative to donating it to maybe a less efficient or less incentivized organization like a nonprofit.
Right. Or even just investing in a startup that isn't.
Right. On the flip side, just like a money-making machine.
Yeah.
And so it's that sweet spot here that we love. Their big differentiator that allows them to make money and offer these savings is data. In a world that data is becoming more important day by day, they have a really solid set of data in terms of how these farms are working, how energy flows, what are the efficiencies and inefficiencies within the broader system, and where are there kind of these arbitrage opportunities. And so they've built best-in-class software and data tracking capabilities to help companies and individuals manage their electrical use. I saw it coined like as easy as Venmo. So going back to that ease, how do we get people and companies to realize this is easy, sign up with Arcadia, we'll take care of it, we'll make it very clear what you need to do and why, and we're going to save you money along the way.
Yeah, and that's a great analogy, right? Just about everyone uses Venmo and knows how easy it is to send hundreds of dollars or more or less to any of your friends or contacts that you may need to, which definitely I think helps demystify, let's say, some of the potential concerns and just logistical difficulties that come with installing solar panels or even looking into it. And so to close up, we're going to talk about some of Arcadia's success, which they have had a plenty of, including over 300 enterprise customers, 75 plus community solar development partners, and this year, Arcadia became the first community solar provider to reach 2 gigawatts under management.
Gum.
2 gum. And they were recognized as one of America's top green tech companies by Time Magazine.
Yeah, so a huge success. We had come across this company before with our connection to Alumni Ventures, and it's awesome to see them growing. This round, not really like a series whatever, A, B, C. It's just a kind of, I think, more of an extension round, keeping them rolling. And it's said to take them through the end of this year and beyond. So with this funding, they're going to continue to grow the community solar program, which they've been working on for a while, but also shifting their sights toward how can they better harness AI to take advantage of their data that really trumps all the other competitors out there.
Yeah, we see a lot of marriages between AI and data, and like you said before we started recording, the winners in the AI space we predict are going to be the ones with the best, most succinct data. And I think Arcadia is off to a great start here. 300 plus enterprise customers, continuing to build those community solar farms. This would be great if this company succeeds in reducing fossil fuels, helping people save money, save the planet even 1% of 1%. What's not to like here?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last episode with Quilt. a new technology, in the space of green tech, right? Where we noted the broader trend of people wanting to get involved here, but also the trend of the government incentivizing it. At least here in the U.S. with the Inflation Reduction Act, I know within my day-to-day at Interplay, we're seeing a lot of companies becoming interested and more incentivized to get involved in solar. So we're seeing a resurgence in that, and that's more on the production side and getting those facilities, those farms built on a utility scale. But then it's like, how do we bridge that gap? Okay, we're building all this. How do we get it working with people? How do people become informed about it and make it very easy? Yeah. And it's through these credits. I think that's kind of the key here.
And it's not an easy gap to bridge, but seemingly there's a lot of money, government incentives, and companies like this that are trying to be on the cutting edge of that implementation.
Yeah. So another interesting smattering of companies today. Yeah. A robotics company, Dude Perfect, which I never thought we'd cover on in the context of Venture Pill, and then this solar space. So
yeah, a real smorgasbord of startups, which is exactly what the doctor ordered, what we love to prescribe here on Venture Pill. I know it's what keeps you and I interested in venture capital at large, not just within the podcast as well. What a mix, man. We love to cover this kind of stuff.
Strong variety in the dose today. That's the spice of life.
Exactly.
Stay lively out there.
Innovation comes in many different shapes and sizes, right? In different applications. And it's just awesome to cover these different companies and learn more about all these different startups that are doing awesome things in all of these different novel, disruptive spaces.
Yep. That's the common thread that weaves it all back together, partner.
Mm-hmm. Well said, partner.
With that, we'll catch you all next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another dose of startups and venture capital. And as always, we appreciate our pilgrims spreading the word about the show. Share with your friends and help someone else make the pilgrimage. See you next time.
She told me that she only bumps my music when she's lonely. Thinks my vibe's a little low-key, okie dokie, that's alright, but wait, I don't know how to do